A few weeks back, I heard that prelude. I recognized it, but couldn't remember what it was. I was listening to what was labeled a list of the top 10 worship songs, Hallelujah, on a reality TV series called The Voice. I thought the song that's entitled Make You Feel My Love was a typical Romeo to Juliet or Juliet to Romeo love song. Seeing it on a list of worship songs caught my eye. It's been recorded by some greats from Billy Joel to Garth Brooks, Ed Sheeran to Adele and many others, but was originally written and recorded by Bob Dylan. Dylan had been a prolific writer, but had gone years without writing anything until the late 1990s. Because it had been so many years, his producers wanted this song to get a widespread audience, and so they were open to it being recorded by many artists. And since that time, it's been professionally recorded by almost 500 artists, from Billy Joel to Garth Brooks, Neil Diamond, Trisha Yearwood, and others. But when Adele, at the last minute, added it to her debut album in 2008, the song hit a whole new generation of artists, composers, and fans. After being persuaded to add the song, Adele said that when she heard the song, then she read the lyrics, and then she heard the song again. She said they were the most beautiful lyrics I've ever read or heard or sung. So normally about this time, you'd be hearing music. In fact, we had planned to play a verse of Bob Dylan singing the song that he wrote at the piano, just like this. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadow stars appear and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. Those words do mean so much more when they're accompanied by a beautiful instrument and a piercing voice. The problem was that we ran into technical issues with YouTube, so our video would not post with music by Bob Dylan or others that we had planned. And so you get me a different day and sitting by a piano that I have no business playing. If you listen to those lyrics, especially the way that they're sung by Dylan or many others, you'd agree with Adele that they mean a whole lot. Those lyrics do mean a lot. So in the late 1990s, Bob Dylan almost died from a life-threatening heart infection called pericarditis. After canceling his European tour, he mustered up enough strength to make an appearance on a different kind of stage. This one was the World Eucharistic Conference in Italy. And there Dylan was not offended at being the warm-up act for that day because he was handing over the microphone to Pope John Paul II. After Dylan sang for the Pope in a congregation of about 200,000 youth, the Pope held the floor and held everyone's attention. He offered a homily based on Dylan's song, Blowin' in the Wind, followed by the Eucharist. Maybe that signified some things happening in Dylan's life at the time, things which became more clear with his next album, featuring a song that he had written, as he said, while he was just sitting at a piano, the song Make You Feel My Love. Let's go back to The Voice for a moment. When Adriana Beseganova came to the stage of The Voice in the Czech Republic, she'd chosen Bob Dylan's song, Make You Feel My Love. The show offers an audience to the voices of people who have usually never sung before a group larger than a local bar, maybe a local church. Adriana, of course, would stretch herself to singing in English, though she was Czech. She didn't know if the fans would receive a song from a different land and a different language written by someone almost 5 times the age of her and her contemporaries. But she did. She was nervous, and so was her family. As she sings, I want you to listen for the purity of her voice matched by the depth of the lyrics. Then notice how well her song is received by everyone there. So here, you would have heard a 2-minute clip of Adriana Beseganova. I'd encourage you to find that video. Search for Adriana Make You Feel My Love, and it's on The Voice. She sings the opening verse and the chorus, and then the second verse so beautifully. Barely 3 seconds after she begins, one of the judges turns her chair. The moment Adriana hits the note at the beginning of the chorus, the other 3 judges turn immediately. Now, by this point, you're sure she's overwhelmed by emotion, but she continues singing with composure because of the song itself. And when she finishes, she does break down with emotion. That's when one of the other judges takes on the role of a father and goes up to hug her and say she'd done a wonderful job. And you knew that she had sung that song as beautifully as ever. Maybe Adriana's response to that is because she wanted someone to love her song, to love her voice. I like her version of the song even better than the original, but the truth is very few of us could ever sing like Adriana, nor could we write like Bob Dylan. So how do we know that we are loved? Really, for Adriana, no matter how well she sings or how well Dylan writes, the audiences won't always be cheering us on. Maybe that's why Bob Dylan spent so much of his time searching, going down wrong paths, sometimes picking the right path, but becoming bored or frustrated or disillusioned by bad projections of who God was. Because the song isn't in church hymnals and Bob Dylan hasn't made lists of patron saints, it seems odd for devotional material to be the subject of this, right? But God calls us to be His church, which does mean that we must sometimes spend time outside on the main streets and even the wall streets of life so people can discover His love and grace. Now, I don't know how long Bob Dylan stayed with Jesus this time, but it was longer than his first stint with the Vineyard Movement in the early 80s. Regardless of whether Bob Dylan, Adele, Garth Brooks, or anyone else fully grasps the depths of true love, one thing is sure: God is always reaching down to us. Both the Old and New Testament tell us that in the Messiah, God wanted the world to know, to sense, even to feel His love. Maybe Jason Scott is right. That second verse points to the crucifixion. Maybe we should hear it and picture all Jesus went through. Maybe Him fasting. For sure, His beatings that He suffered. Recall the Via Dolorosa He walked down, painfully carrying His cross. Maybe the prophet Isaiah was right when he said the Messiah would be wounded for our transgressions. Our deserved punishment would be laid upon Him. Maybe in the person, the life, and especially agape love of Jesus, love that was willing to suffer and die. Maybe in that we can hear God's message and realize how much He does love us so that we may know and even feel His love.